All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm a little busy at work today, but I want to cover two stocks today. We'll look at SOFI and we'll look at Plug today. All right. Each of them had a little bit of an interesting day, and I say a little bit like loosely. I think Plug is maybe a little bit more of an interesting setup, but I think overall they both had a nice day because really the markets actually had a nice day today, right? So yesterday was the first day of tariffs. Yesterday was the fourth, right? I think so. Not today. Yeah, duh. Sorry. And then today we got a little bit of good news from Trump where he paused some of the tariffs, right? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to pause more. That doesn't necessarily mean this and that. But I think the rumor might start to brew that, hey, maybe he will pause a couple more, right? Maybe that'll be a good enough thing to where Canada, Mexico, and China are not as happy or not as angry as they would have been. I don't really know, right? Again, I'm not here pretending I know about politics or really want to talk about politics, right? But the man loosening the tariffs is a good thing, right? And I think right now we're at least seeing the immediate happiness from the market, and I'll talk about that, but that is helping SoFi. You can see a very interesting doji on our golden line right there, right? So on the technical side, it's not the prettiest by any means, but hey, if the markets are able to recover, so will this, right? Like I said, I think Plug has a little bit more of an interesting setup here, right? So it looks like earnings were on Monday. I actually don't know if they were good or not, right? It looks like it was actually a red day on it, but the next day was very nice. And today wasn't beautiful by any means, but hey, we at least continued. And now the question is going to be, can we break the 20 and go to the 50, right? I don't get why it's saying earnings might be right here on the 14th, even though it's actually saying it happened on the 3rd. Let me know if you actually have any details. I don't have my phone in front of me, so I can't check my Webull to validate it. But I'm going to look at this and assume that earnings did happen, and hey, that's not two bad candles behind it. Again, though, and I'll talk about the details, the 8 and the 20 are difficult lines when you're under them. And as much as we love being over them because it's really hard to lose them, oh, we hate being under them because it's hard to get over them, right? And what looks like a good attempt is still very much under the lines, and we're here to respect them, right? So give me a good follow through on the market, and hey, all of a sudden I think it'll be a little bit easier to break the MAs, right? And just in case you don't watch the whole thing, you're just here for the opening thoughts, look, let's at least take a quick look. NASDAQ actually slips below the 200. I use the word slips very loosely because really it was just one single candle closing under a doji and then we're right back over, right? So we for sure don't confirm. We definitely don't lose it on a big crazy candle or anything like that, right? But this one, I use that word specifically because when you look at the S&P 500, that one's actually still over it, right? Purple line is still over it. Some wicks got close, but over it, right? And then when you look at the Dow Jones, you can see that that's actually just below the 100, for lack of words, maybe even in between the 100 and 200, but nowhere near that purple line, right? So NASDAQ at the moment is looking like the worst one, right? And again, I mentioned it on my, I think I made the video on Monday, even after that big, ugly, scary candle. The 200 is a strong line. It's a difficult one to break up. It's a hard one to lose down. And so far that's showing it, all right? What's really going to matter is can we get over the 8 moving average? And lo and behold, the way it's coming down, it's basically going to come to my golden line. And the question is going to be, can we get over that and make our way on up to like 9, excuse me, 19,200. All right. So I would very much be looking for a break of 18,650 on the NASDAQ. If that happens, I think there could be a good little recovery. Again, just like I said, right, when we were looking at plug, when you're under the 8 and the 20, it's difficult. All of a sudden, I am seeing on the NASDAQ the 8 coming down and then the 20 below it and the 20 above it coming down as well, right? Really the 50 as well, but I'm not really talking about that one right now, right? So this has me just a little bit worried, but again, we're at a strong 200. Get me over the 8. There is some green to red to green that could take us up to 19,200, and that could lift some things at least temporarily until we figure out, the next stuff, right? So before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do, it helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so thankful for it. All right, so let's get into SOFI. And really, sorry, I zoomed in too much. SOFI has a couple things going on for it right now. All right, so I think the first one really is, look, on the chart itself, I'm not really loving this thing, right? We're under 4 of the 5 moving averages. We're definitely under the 8 and the 20, and we're doing our best not to lose the 100 moving average, right? Clearly, we're under the blue line. Clearly, we're at least 3 days below it, right? But at this point, that's a bad candle. That's not confirmation, and neither is that, right? So we're trying, and I'll take trying for sure. But hey, it's oh man, it's like right there to say the least. You know what I mean? So I think from there, even as you look down in the lower indicators, it's not the best, it's not the worst. I think SOFI in so many ways is gonna dictate on what NASDAQ and S&P 500 do. All right, so I'm not trying to talk about the indices too much, but hey, NASDAQ's at the 200. NASDAQ has the chance to use the 200 like a strong line and bounce on up. Trump did just lean the car tariffs. I think in today's world, there's more technology in cars than, you know, the average computer at this point, right? So I'm not even talking EVs. Even in like a pickup truck, right? There's so much navigation. There's so many systems for safety, right? It's not just an airbag and a seatbelt and gears and stuff anymore, right? So when I think of cars, I actually think about the NASDAQ a lot more than just, you know, Dow Jones assembly line in a factory. You know what I mean? So I think it's good for NASDAQ that he paused the car thing, even though it's only a month. But hey, we'll take it. And I mean, just look at the window, right? I mentioned it. Oh, I zoomed in too much. I apologize. Right here, green, red, red could be a nice green as high as 19,250, give or take. Now, the 20 moving average is coming down, so maybe we'll only get to like 19,000. I'm kind of guessing, right? I don't know the math behind these lines, but either way, that's not a bad move if it happens. If we lose that line, that's where scary things will happen. And with SOFI, it's already kind of set to be on the scary side. Because if we lose the 100, we're coming to the 200, and that's all the way down here at 10, right? If we can go up, man, there are a lot of moving averages right here. And to me, that's a little bit on the annoying side. But look, again, give or take, I can see something going around 1450. I can see them meeting right about there. Maybe from 1340 to 1450, that's a decent 10%, give or take, not really a full 10. But maybe breaking that will be an interesting place to consider something. And again, I think more than anything, it's about NASDAQ, right? Personally, I'm a little worried about NASDAQ on the more longer term side, but hey, right now we've come to the 50. I don't know if we're going to hold it or not. I don't know if we're going to bounce back up. And hey, this thing is basically saying 19,300-ish. I was saying 19,200-ish on the daily, right? So maybe something around that 19 is realistic, but I don't know if that's going to be good enough to put us at 19.6 over the lines and in a better place, right? So, I could see the potential, but man, I think this one's a little tight. And look, I think to me, I would rather look for something like plug, which I'm about to talk about. And again, It's still going to be difficult conditions, in my opinion. But if NASDAQ can make the right little moves, that one at least has the better setup for a quicker little move. All right. Now, look, if you're long and strong, right, just remember, and I sincerely believe this, the market always recovers. Always, right? There's going to be little moments, and hey, those little moments might be 20%, 30%, 40%. I don't know what that big percent number is, right? But it will recover. And hey, if you're long and strong and you can ignore stuff and you can close your eyes and put, know you're putting your money where you want to see it in like 5, 10 years, I'm just talking days and weeks on these charts, right? So cool. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. So let's take a look at Plug real quick. And really, what's catching my eye right now on Plug is two parts. All right. Number one is this nice little channel between the 20 and the 50 MA. And I think the fact that it complements the nice little channel between basically our golden line, but the 8 moving average to the 100 moving average. All right. I think if NASDAQ can fill that channel right there, I think it's going to be very, very realistic to believe that Plug Power, a technology sector stock, can mimic the same channel fill, right? So I don't know if you were watching the SOFI one or not, but with SOFI, there's just too many moving averages right there. And hey, you can take this one, then this one, then this one. There's definitely a path to do 1, 2, 3 right there. But hey, if we're going to just mimic a quick little recovery on the NASDAQ and just pump, 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 catch, 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 and then watch what happens after, I would love a channel like this, right? Because I've been kind of echoing over the last couple of weeks, maybe the last couple of days. Man, my videos and my times have been so, life's been good, don't get me wrong, but I've been so busy on my side of the screen. But I'm not sure what's going to happen long term. And look, to me, weekly is long term, right? I'm a daily chart guy that peaks at weekly, right? It kind of seems like there's a chance for a small little window of recovery. There is an eye of the hurricane, right? Like, I don't know if you watch King of the Hill. There's this episode where like there's a hurricane, there's the eye of it, and then I'm butchering it. Go watch King of the Hill, man. I hope you like that show. I think there's a chance to ride that, and it's one more time gonna be what happens with NASDAQ right there. So make sure we do not lose 18,400. Make sure we break 18,600. If that happens, I'm gonna like Plug a lot. One more time, I mentioned it in the opening thoughts. I can't tell which of these is accurate. Did earnings already happen, or is earnings coming up? I like the fact that it's already happened. If it's true, it looks like it's saying it happened on Monday the 3rd right there, right? And if that's true, I like that earnings are behind us. That's a decent 2 candles after it. And again, I'm not going to repeat the NASDAQ thing one more time. The daily and the weekly have the same decent little gap, right? Those had from the 20 to the 50. This one has from nothing to the 8. And realistically, maybe even from the 8 to the 20 right above that, right? So I like the daily. I like the weekly. I'm unsure about NASDAQ, but if it does the job, that's all we need, right? So be careful out there, all right? It's hard to trade. Don't get frustrated, all right? Boring is better than wrong. Trust me, I enjoy gambling. I enjoy trading. I do it for fun more than I do it to like pay for rent and food, right? But man, I would much rather be bored than wrong with my money. You know what I mean? And just be careful out there. That's all I'm going to say, all right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.